Okay, now you've got this strand here on the inside here, and here's where the rope exits out the other side. So this is basically what you want it to look like. We're going to start right here at this strand. We're going to take the outer core here, come down through here, and then we're going to take about half as much, so this much more from here to there. We want to go down about half that length of this strand here, which would be right about here, and that's where we're going to insert the splicing wand end here. Okay, to do that, so we enter the thing here. Now if you bunch this up like this, you can see you go through the center without splicing anything, without hurting anything, and you just keep going. You don't want to catch any of those things, so bunching it up beforehand makes it quite easy to get all that through here. Then we'll exit at the exact same point where this strand is. Right there. We're going to exit it. Okay, right where that strand is, that's where we're going to exit the splice there. Then we're going to take this part, we're going to reveal our snare again. Let me loosen that nut here. Reveal the snare here, and we're going to put this, you can put almost all of them in this thing because it's easier to push it through that core than it was the first time. So put all of them in there, and then we'll tighten up the snare again, lock it down, okay, and then we'll start feeding this through it. And it's just about that easy. Okay, there we go. And release the snare, and got that exiting right out through there. Alright, we're back over here away from the splicing wand, and what you should have now is a big mess. And we do. We have a knot right here, we have a loose end right over here, and then we have this other end over here. Now if it doesn't look similar to this, then you've done something wrong and you probably need to start over again. But this is correct at this point. This is what you should look like, what you've got. Okay? Okay, you follow this knot down, this core, and it comes out right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this mess out by grabbing hold of this and pulling, and you see this knot right here? Give it a really good, nice and tight. Okay? Now let's do the same thing over here. You don't want this to come out, which is already trying to come out. You want to keep that in there. Now do the same thing with this assembly. So grab hold of it here, and we're going to pull that nice and tight as well. Now you got more of a compact mess now. So what you want to do is you want to smooth this stuff out. Now this tail will shrink inside of this when you start smoothing it out. And that's okay. So let it shrink up into there, and we got that going on. And then you want to do the same thing down here. This tail will not disappear all entirely. It'll still be sticking out. So down to the eye, which is right here, and then past the eye. Okay? So now it's much smoother. Looks pretty good. Now this is an optional step here, which is probably very important. We're going to actually take a needle and we're going to whip through here to secure these two crossover. We call this the crossover right here. So we're going to whip between those. What's important here is that obviously when the eye splice is under a lot of stress, it's nice and tight, because remember the puzzle with your two fingers, when you pull tight, it gets locked in tighter. Well, under 10 pounds of pressure, it's not really pulling exceptionally tight, so it's not as tight. So actually by whipping it here, it makes this eye splice a lot more secure under light loads. So we're going to do that next. this crossover has to go in through here. So by doing this optional step, not only do you increase the strength of the eye under light loads, but you also reduce this crossover size so that it more easily slips into here. So what we'll do is we'll take a sailmaker's needle, and one thing, it's hard to get all this through the eye of the needle if you go through this end. So here's a little trick. Actually take it around the needle and hold it tight like that, and then take the needle out and take that end and go through the eye of the needle, and look how easy it is to thread your needle by doing that. So that's a little trick that makes it a little bit more easy to thread such a heavy, bulky piece. So then we're going to go through the rope in the core, and we're not going to pull tight. We're just going to come home with it until we get a few of these stitches in here. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll mess up the outer, the inner core down here if you pull tight right away. Just do that one more time. Okay, and now we'll come in approximately the same hole but at different angles so that we don't get a mess here, and now we can apply tension. Okay, so again we're going to come through the same hole almost right beside it, because you don't want a big loop laying on the top, and just go in at a different angle. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to catch the core or anything like that. You're just trying to lock it all into place there, and it won't look like you're actually decreasing the size of the line, but you are, and that will help in the next steps. Okay, so one more time through, and again go in approximately at the same point that you went before, but at say a different angle. And then take your scissors and chop that off, and chop off that inner core strand. Like that. And that's what you got. Good. Okay, one more thing we need to do is we got to be concerned about this end. Now you need to make sure this is zeroed out. So again, if you milk it down, and if you milk that down again, that should be the 0 point here. So put your thumb there, and then pull out some of this, and then just simply cut right at that point, right above your thumb. Okay, then we'll take this and we'll unravel it, make it like that, and we'll cut out some of these and taper it a little bit. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll again milk the rope down again, and this should disappear inside the core. Like that. Now to finish up the eyelet. Alright, we have that done. Now we're going to take our tied knot, the butterfly knot, and we're going to attach it to something secure. Okay, I've got my knotted end to secure to something very tight. Then we're going to just start milking this all the way up, and you'll see that it's starting to seal or to swallow up the core. Okay, now when you get up to a certain point up here, right here where the core starts sinking into to the outer sleeve, you want to stop. And what you want to do is apply pressure on both these sides, and so that this doesn't get bunched up all the way up here at the knot. So what you want to do is when you get to that point, which we're at right now, you want to start milking this down. Okay, so we're milking this side to make sure that that core feeds inside of here. So we want to apply pressure on both these sides as we're pulling it through, and you can see it's starting to pull through already. So keep applying pressure there, and you're seeing it's starting to milk its way into there. And again, keep this down. Make sure that you're applying good pressure there so that you don't get a mess up here, and good pressure here as well. And keep milking it on. Now, when you get to this part where the core is actually going in, you want to sort of work it through. So again, massage the rope, and you'll find that it works a lot better if you massage it and loosen it up. Keep doing that, and then you'll find this job's not so difficult. Okay? Okay, and then apply pressure again, making sure this is all staying down nice and tight. If you go all the way to the knot, you'll find that there's excess rope down there. You can see it's working its way through. So again, take it and massage it. Just makes the job twice as easy. If you don't do this, then you're hurting your hand. You're burning your hand. You're going to massage it again. And then we're going to make sure that we still are applying good tension here to make sure that nothing gets caught in here. And do it again. Now, if all your measurements were done accurately, you'll start seeing this thing come up through here. We need to massage it some more. It's tight, but we got plenty of rope in here. I can feel it. Still applying rope or pressure here and pressure here, and we're just milking this up. I've loosened that thing up a little bit, and you notice it's starting to sink it in through here. We just have to come up to this point. So we'll keep doing that. Work the rope a little bit more. Okay, stop at this point and make sure that there is no slack in this rope from here to here. So we'll actually kind of work it up because you want this to be nice and tight. So start from this end, not the end that we're sinking the core in, and work it up all the way around the rope here. And see all that slack right there? Now you can either pinch it with your fingers here. So you're milking it up, milking it up. Let's milk it up one more time. Or what I like to do is put a awl right through it to lock those two in place. Okay, so we have an awl all the way through it, like that, and there's where the excess is. So you want that nice and tight. That will ensure that you have the full strength of the rope. Otherwise, if you leave it in there, you don't. So do that. Okay, once the awl is in there, then just simply take it and pull and watch this rope. See it sink in there, and it's actually nice and tight now all around the perimeter. That'll make it easier for you to pull it up through here too. So give it a few more yanks, and then we've got all this nice and taut, which restores the strength of the rope. Then we'll start again milking it up here. We should probably, because you're almost to this point, you're not quite, you're about 1/4 of an inch off. We'll milk it a little bit more. I'm sorry, not milk it. We'll massage it a little bit more to loosen it up. And then we'll go all the way to the knot. And pull more up. Now for a stubborn rope, see, we're almost there. We're right about there now. For a stubborn rope, sometimes a good idea is to put a hammer. If you can't use a hammer, you can use some other tool like a carabiner if the opening for the eye is too small, and just give it a few whacks.
That's gotta go in the bloopers.
Alright, your eyelet is done. We had a little accident there. That's what happens if you don't secure that butterfly knot onto a good secure location. But we're done. Now the only thing left, now the beauty of this this line here is that it matches the color of our rope. That's one of the reasons that we pull it out. So again, take your your sailmaker's needle, and we'll do that little trick again. Feed it through the eye of the needle, and then we'll take this and we'll finish up this eye splice through the double braid rope. Now this part's pretty thick, so it's a little bit harder to do this. I'm going to show it down here, going through. Stitch it through and go close to where you went at different angles. You just want to catch the core and the outer outer sleeve at this as well. And again, we're just going to stitch back behind this a few times. Alright, after we've done a few stitches, we'll just take our scissors and we'll trim off that excess there, and that's it. You are done with your double braid eye splice. Now this is by far the most popular eye splice there is out there. Most people are just using double braid line for a lot of different purposes. So this has a great strength. The strength is the same all the way through. This splice is the same as what it would be for the line. And that's it for the double braided line eye splice. I hope you enjoy making them. And thanks again. I'm Eric Grant, and Isaiah Grant's behind the camera. Bye-bye.